All right, we're live. I think we're live. Welcome back, hopefully, to Hey Eintracht Frankfurt, the Bundesliga podcast covering everything there is to know in the English language about Eintracht Frankfurt. We are live on YouTube. Currently, no viewers. That's okay. We'll get there. First of all, appreciate everybody who is subscribed to our YouTube channel to make this live stream possible. It was a lot of work. Making the move to get to this point. We really hope to share a lot of content in the coming months and the coming years on this platform. Some new technology we're integrating to make it the best possible. We're not really podcast anymore. We're a media production now. It is. We're taking the turn. For those who haven't seen my ugly mug before, I'm Chris up here in the Detroit area of Michigan. My counterpart to talk about just life in general, HFPod, Frankfurt, and other things. John Ben out there on the East Coast. You're in Virginia now, right?
Yep, in Virginia, not too far from DC, so yeah, we chilling.
Cool. How's your summer been so far?
It's been pretty chill. Just been enjoying the women's Euros quite a bit here recently, so yeah, could be worse.
Yeah, I could. What's that kit you're wearing?
This is an old. Oh, geez, I forget what year it's from. It's a Codlets on the back though, so old
like
mid or early 2010s Frankfurt right there.
I like it. Usually when we do the podcast recording on our own, we have like a script, an introduction, some stuff we follow. I have zero script for this. We're just kind of flying by the seat of the pants here and testing this out because we're headed to Philadelphia. We're headed to Louisville, and we're going to do this live content there. I'm not sure how yet, but this test run so far is going well. Chris down in Austin is being pretty kind so far. He thinks your jersey's from the 13-14 year.
13-14. I can go try it. Right. Yeah.
So basically, we talked about doing live content for a while. We've done some recaps with faces on screen and stuff like that, but we're looking for a way to make this a more fan-driven, what content do people want to hear production. So what we're doing now is the start of that. So in the future, we can pull people into live streams, get an open mic going so fans can give their takes on how things are going in Frankfurt and the Bundesliga and the whole world of soccer, really, because we've expanded beyond just the Frankfurt men where we started and the women's team, and we've done Euros coverage and World Cups. So, it's really a 365 thing now. You were mentioning the women's Euros before. We had USA national team was playing here in the Gold Cup, the championship of North America. All this summer tour stuff that's going on. It's a 365-day calendar now. Let's segue that to Frankfurt a little bit before we get into the tour stuff. Let's talk about transfers, movement in, movement out. You're much more versed in this than I am. Why don't you tell me what to expect? Obviously, the big news sounds like it finalized today with Hugo Ekitike headed to Liverpool for more than 90 million.
Yep.
I'm glad that's settled now instead of the last few days of the window, which we've been accustomed to in the past. Give me your thoughts on Ekitike's departure and those we expect to fill those shoes.
Yeah, so obviously the reports are that he's leaving for 90 million euros, I believe 5 million in relatively easy add-ons to get, so ultimately could be basically the same price as what we sold Kolo Muani for. Of course, we do have to pay 20% sell-on clause to PSG, so not all that 95 will go straight into our coffers. And obviously that it would have left a hole up front. He was obviously a massive part of our season last year in getting to Champions League. But earlier in the window, we brought in Jonathan Burkhardt from Mainz, who has been one of the better young strikers in the Bundesliga for a few seasons now. I think he's Mainz's all-time leading scorer in the Bundesliga. Great signing. I think he'll be able to make up a lot of the goals that Ekitike leaving, forces us to make up. We still got Eli Wahi there. I know a lot of us don't necessarily have the highest hopes for him. So we'll see what happens there. And then there have been quite a few rumors about bringing in another striker to give some more depth up top. The hot name right now is Franjo Ivanovic from Union Saint-Gilloise. He would probably cost around 20 million euros. If we were able to bring him in, he had a great season in Belgium. So I think, we'll be just fine. Every time we've sold a striker for a lot of money, we've been able to find the next player to fill those shoes. So I think we'll be good. And that money gives us quite a bit to play with, beefing up the roster in some other spots as well.
Yeah, going to Burkhart for a second, I like that signing in that it's a little more established guy. We've done a good job with guys like Kolomuani and Ekitike who are up and coming. Sky's the limit future with those guys, but they're still unknowns. And not that we're paying too much for them, but we paid a good chunk of money for Ekitike. We got Kolomuani on the free, but those kinds of signings, you never know. If they don't work out, your season is tanked. And eventually you're bound to miss on one of them. And a guy like Burkhardt might not jump off the page the same way that Ekitike's highlight reel does, but it gives you some confidence that he knows the league. It's not going to take him, 3 weeks to get in shape or 3 months to find form with other guys. I think he's going to slot in pretty well, especially now that we have even more experience with Wahi and guys like that have been here now. They're settled in. I expect them to take some steps forward because there was a lot of growing pains there and a lot of people not happy, for how good we did in the transfers with the sell on last year. Still a lot of questions about the performance. So I'm pretty comfortable with Burkhart being here and what that's going to do, but also Batshuayi and other guys that are should be in better form than we saw at the end of last year.
Yeah, I think Batshuayi is an interesting shout because I had seen some stuff at the beginning of the transfer window where there was a possibility he was going to leave after, just the half season, but obviously he's joining the team for the US tour. Doesn't look like he's going to leave. And I think it's a nice depth option for us. He has shown that he's able to bag some goals here and there in substitute minutes. And also going back to Burkhardt for a second, that signing, not only is he an established, experienced Bundesliga guy, I mean, he's still, only 24, so, not an old player by any means. I don't think he necessarily has the ambition to go beyond the Bundesliga. I think the Bundesliga is where he wants to be, and I think that shows, we're starting to make some signings for players that might want to be here longer term than just a season or two and move on. And I think that's going to be important to have some squad continuity going forward in our quest to, make Champions League consecutive years in a row and really start to generate that kind of revenue.
Yeah, for sure. We're up to 6 viewers on YouTube. Not bad for our first time out. If anyone's coming to the USA from abroad for the first time, and you're watching us now or watching a recording on this at some point, get in touch with us through one of our social media channels. If you go to our profile here on YouTube, you'll see a link to our link tree, which has all the social media feeds listed. But we're going to have some things to hand out, some stuff from us, but some stuff from some friends of ours as well, to make sure that people are properly taken care of for how far you're traveling to watch the greatest team in the world compete in Kentucky and Pennsylvania. John, let's talk for a minute about the transfers on the women's side, because we failed a bit as a podcast. We didn't get our Frauen end of season report out, but plenty of movement there and plenty of players in action at the Euros. Tell me a little bit about how the women did in the Euros, those either still with the club or recently departed, and where the transfers look heading into July.
Yeah, sure. So, at the Euros, we had players on Switzerland, Reuteler, Riesen, and a new signing, Evel. Riesen and Reuteler basically played every single minute. Evel played 2 of the games, and Reuteler got a player of the match for all 3 group stage matches. Unfortunately, they went out to Spain they went out to Spain in the quarters, which was expected, and they actually held on for a good while. So, really good showing from them. One of our new signings, Rebecca Blomqvist, was on the Sweden side. They ended up losing on penalties to England. And then, we had couple players on the Germany squad, Freigang and Elisa Sens. Sens has played, I think, every single minute for Germany. Freigang's started one game, come on as a sub in a couple others, and they are now into the semifinals where they will face Spain on Thursday, I believe. And there were a couple other players at the Euros that we've just brought in the past few days. One of them being center back Martina Ostenstad from Norway. She was on the bench for for all 4 games and only played a few minutes during their last group stage match. But she's a right-footed center back coming from Braun, I believe 24 years old. So she's kind of the replacement for Klein Herna. I think that's a really nice signing. Someone experienced. Braun has been one of the better sides in Norway, and she's been a rock-solid part of that defense. So excited to see what she can bring. And then today, just announced was Jarne Tullings, who played on Belgium at the Euros. She was playing for Feyenoord this past season, and before then, Fortuna Sittard. And, she is an attacking midfielder. I think she had 15 goal contributions this year, 23 years old. So maybe kind of a replacement-ish for Dunst. And, we've also, as I mentioned, brought in Blomqvist. We've also brought in Araleta Mehmeti from Hoffenheim. She's a very experienced Bundesliga player. Both of them are. And I think those are really nice depth signings. I don't know. I think overall, we were a bit worried, as the year went on, seeing, Johannes leave, seeing Dunst leave, Sophia Kleinherna. We lost a bit of depth with Noctegal, Vomser, Ailing, and I think there was one other. Oh, and then, of course, Pavelek left as well. So, we lost quite a few players, but you're starting to see some signings that are making up for that. And I think the women's side is in a decent spot going forward. Maybe not the highest quality of signings that you would like to see from someone who just was contending for the Bundesliga title this past season, but still some very, very solid players. So I like the direction a little bit.
And it's still early in the summer. I mean, relative to transfers, there's still plenty of time on both the women's and the men's side. Back to the men for a minute. What is, now that you've got $90 million burning a hole in your pocket, if you're Marcus Kroesche and you're an irresponsible spender like I am, where are you spending that money to have the most impact right now?
I would consider spending it on a center back. Tuta, it looks like he's going to stay this year and eventually leave on a free next summer. I think that another center back is in order. Just to have some depth there. Maybe Amenda can do something. He was injured a bit last season, and I didn't think his performances were the best. So I would like another player there, maybe someone who has a higher ceiling that can take over for Tuta when he leaves, or provide some better depth for Robin Koch. I think another position going forward that we still need to address is that center midfield. Looks like Modahood will leave the club. Unsurprising, he clearly didn't have Dino's trust last year. And when you're looking at us, we've made one big sale every summer for the past few years now, and that next big sale sure looks like it might be Hugo Larsson next summer, and so you'll need a replacement for him. So I think those are the two positions that I would look towards to spend some money.
Yeah, it doesn't hurt. Even if you're not moving bodies out right now, you're providing depth, because we're hoping to make 3 runs in 3 competitions and be competitive in all of those deep into the year. That's the goal. I think it's been stated by Dino that, that qualifying for Champions League is not the ceiling. It's a step on where we want to go. And I think that's important for us to take in here, is the amount of depth required. Remember our last trip through Champions League, we exhausted all of our depth just trying to survive. Those are physically grueling, and I think it's going to be interesting to see how Dino manages that, because he's going to have, I think, quite a few legs to run out there, some good depth. But to play well in 3 competitions, you need a lot of quality depth, not just live bodies with warm blood in them. And it feels like that's what we've relied on sometimes. Like the Europa League title run we had to sacrifice the Bundesliga to do that. And to finish top 4 in the Bundesliga this year, we really we played it out to the end. We didn't have the horses to really drag the sleigh across the line or run it across the line. It was literally dragging there till the last match day. But there's still plenty of time. I would think now that the big move is done, he's going to sit back and let things settle a bit through Europe. There's always when somebody goes for 100 million or close to it, there's always a rush to spend. It's the kind of fan I am. It's not my job to balance the books. It's my job to be a fan. And, it's hard to give it the right perspective and sit back and be patient, but I think we're going to get there.
I think so.
I've been patient trying to get to this topic. What are we drinking? What have we been drinking? It's been a good weather summer here in Michigan, and I've been out on the boat a lot, and I've been taking I try to bring a different beer out each time. A 4-pack or something. If Michigan Department of Natural Resources is out there, I'm not getting drunk on a boat. That is illegal, I am aware, but I have a couple each time out on the boat. And I was in a weird spot at the grocery store this week because they had some good summer specials out there, but then I'm like, man, I'm leaving town tomorrow for most of the next month. I'm not really going to be here. So I am drinking the Michelob Ultra tonight. It's the back of the fridge beer that's got to go before you travel. But rest assured, I've had some people making beer requests to come from Michigan, from Bell's, and a couple other local breweries. People asked for some things for. I will be fully loaded in Louisville, bringing a full cooler of Michigan's finest down to you. What about you?
Yeah.
What's been in your day?
Right now, I'm just drinking some coffee, but my brother should be getting back from the store pretty soon with some twisted teas, so probably sit on the back porch in a minute after this. And on Saturday, watching the Germany-France quarterfinal, I went to the Brig in DC, which has a lot of German beers, and just drinking some Polliner, half of Weizen, just delicious stuff.
Polliner's good stuff. Just not that team they sponsor.
Yeah, fair.
When it comes to Munich, I'm an Augustiner guy, but good luck finding that anywhere else.
Yeah.
But all right, let's talk about the big topic, the summer tour. We can't take a lot out of these. We haven't in the past because, the roster's fluid. We're trying to put 3 matches into a week. This is unique as far as the number of matches in a short window. Maybe the Florida Cup might be the one that, is close to it, but I think they only played 2 matches then. 3 in a week is a lot to knock out here. July 26th, Eintracht Frankfurt and Aston Villa. That is 7 or 7:30 p.m. In Louisville. And then on the 29th against Louisville City of the USL Championship, which I'm very familiar with, and why you will not see me wear the color purple in Louisville next week. It's no disrespect to your fine city. I just happen to be invested in a rival club. Anyway, I'll save my hate for in person, but we can't take a lot tactically out of this tour. But what do you want to see from Frankfurt? I thought one of the big things I took out of last year, the open training sessions and the match itself. Well, he didn't play in the match itself, but Koa Santos. We were sitting at the open training session together in Louisville last year, and we said, this guy he's tall, he's got range in the goal, and man, did he put that on full performance during the season last year. I mean, I don't know if we're going to see a breakout performance like that, but is there any particular person you're excited to see up close, and then hopefully it translates into the season?
Honestly, I'm mostly excited to watch Jonathan Burkhardt. I know he's a known commodity, so it's not going to be surprising to watch him, but I'm just really excited that he's playing for us now, and I'm excited to see what he can do, how he can play off of some of the other players, and again, at the end of the day, really what you want to see from this tour is everyone get through it healthy and just see, just see some of the skills that they can show, see that they're invested in the team and they're excited to be here, excited to wear the jersey and really show out for the fans and put in a good effort in the games, but don't go too crazy.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, while you were talking, we hit double digits on viewers. We got 10.
Hell yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, that's a pretty good start.
That is.
We're only gonna get bigger. We're only gonna get better. But we're gonna have to get Brian in here to tell us some tales of the Finnish fourth division, and then people will really. I know he's listening too right now. Love you, Brian. But the third match is going to be interesting too in Philadelphia against Philadelphia Union of Major League Soccer here in the States. This one is interesting to me because that's a side that Frankfurt has some history with, some people we're familiar with, and the city of Philadelphia has a great following for Eintracht here in the States. We'll have more on it in a bit, but EFC Philadelphia is growing. The Northeast corridor of the U.S. has a really good Frankfurt following, and I think that's where people are really going to show up, show out in Philadelphia on the weekend. My Detroit Tigers are in Philadelphia that weekend, so I get to actually watch a game out there Friday night. But there's going to be one heck of a party. But even outside of the party, I don't know if you've ever been to the stadium there. It's a unique environment. I went there once about 15 years ago. Kind of right on the river under the bridge there. It's a unique environment, but it's quite a far away from the city center, kind of more of a suburban style, if you can really say that. It's not where it is, but it has that suburban style of parking around it. We're going to make that town our own, I think. I think the Frankfurt fans are going to show out. And, Philly fans across all sports have a reputation. I don't think they're ready for Eintracht Frankfurt. It's a summer tour. It's a friendly. It's not going to be anything crazy. But I don't think they've seen passion of fans from the soccer side like they're going to see from us. And the numbers we're going to put in there for what is otherwise a meaningless friendly, it means a lot to those of us that are here to have the chance to see them 2 years in a row. I know you missed the match last year, but you were at the team events, the training session. You traveled all the way to Louisville and called off from work the next day just to see your team practice. It had nothing to do with seeing a match. That speaks to me about the level of fandom that a Frankfurt fan brings. You traveled 1,000 miles to watch practice. We're talking about practice, Allen Iverson. You want to talk about Philly? You want to talk about practice? John loves practice, right?
Absolutely. No, yeah, that was a lot of fun. Just to, because it's not often you get to see your favorite soccer team when they're a European side. Yeah, we've been lucky with some tours in the past, obviously, before I was connected. So last year was the first opportunity for me. And I think this year is going to be a lot of fun. I think, a lot of people from EFC DC are going to be up there for Philly, so that should be a good time. I know some other people, just like general Bundesliga fans, had shown interest in, going up for that match. We'll see, how many end up doing it. So I think that Philly's going to be a lot of fun. I think Louisville will be a good time too for people who are going there. It was a good showing last year. A lot of people, and people are familiar. They'll know the town. They'll know, what to expect. And so I think it'll make it easier for the people going there.
We're going to have to go to all the breweries that we went to last year and make sure our stickers are up on the wall, put new ones up there. We caused, some interesting times there. But for those that aren't aware of what's going on in Louisville or Philadelphia, follow our social media feeds. Again, check the link in our bio on this site, or catch us on Instagram at Hey Eintracht Frankfurt, any of the social media feeds from Linktree. A lot going on, a lot still subject to change, and the club is going to keep us up to date with that on their feeds, and we'll feed it down. But some of the fan-centric things, because we are wholly independent, by fans, for fans, all that good stuff. We love the club, but we're going to make our own party, and that starts with a tailgate party, both the 26th and the 29th, outside Lynn Family Stadium. The Gold Lot, which is just to the east, I believe. Nope, that's east is a highway. I think it's south of the stadium. Anyway, the Gold Lot the driving address is 250 Adams Street in Louisville. So if you look that up, or the Gold Lot on the Louisville City event map. We will be in the gold lot. Flags will be flying. You will not miss the red and black. Stop by, bring a cooler, bring your car. We'll put them all next to each other. We got kids activities, some food coming around. The food will not be as good as last year. I tried. I could not get a price point that fit like last year. That food last year was absolutely insane. But there will be food, there will be drinks, sticker and swag swap. So if you got a couple old jerseys, t-shirts laying around that are in decent shape, please wash them before you show up with them. We're gonna rehome some clothes that maybe you drank too many beers like I did and outgrew some of your stuff. Let's find new homes for our gear, and we're gonna have a good time. If you were there last year, the Jägermeister, pumping out the Jägermeister all night, that was quite awesome. And honestly, the after party after the match might have topped the pregame. So we'll be there both nights, the 26th and the 29th, starting at 4 p.m. local time and going until maybe 60 minutes before kickoff. And then we'll see what the after party brings. Now, August 2nd in Philadelphia, we are working with Brauhaus Schmitz. Fantastic German establishment. John, you've been there. I've been there. Operated by a Frankfurt fan. It's a fantastic place in Philly. Address there is 718 South Street in Philadelphia. So put that in your GPS or Google Maps it from your Airbnb, wherever you're staying. We are going to be there at approximately noonish, plus or minus. I mean, get there, as early as 11 o'clock. I don't care, but we're going to try to do this live stream for people that can't be there and get some EFC fan profiles. If you run an EFC, a prospective EFC, if you're just a fan that finds yourself in Philadelphia, we want to talk to you. We want to hear your story, share it with people out there. Maybe we'll even remote some people in that pick up our stream from Frankfurt. I think that would be fun. We're just going to, connect people with the people because that's what it's all about. So same thing there. We'll have the swag swap, some kids activities. The stickers have been fun. I've had so much fun collecting stickers. I've got them covering my my cornhole boards now. That's been a fun adventure and decoration, but I've never had a bad time at one of these watch parties. Tom has done a fantastic job doing those in Chicago and Philadelphia and other places, and it's kind of contagious. Once you go to one, you want to do more, and I hope this is just the start. We end up doing a lot more stuff. So follow our feeds. Run into John. I don't know. Maybe he'll buy you one. Maybe I'll buy you a beer. We got
I'll buy
9
beers.
people online right now. I'm not buying 9 beers, but maybe the first 3 people that get to me, I'll buy a beer for. We'll see.
Yeah, those city prices can do you dirty sometimes.
Yeah, they can. Anything else you got for us here? I mean,
I don't think I have too much.
It's good to be back on air. I'm surprised this stream actually held up. We're going to improve it. We're going to make it better. We're going to have some great content coming up over the next few months as we learn how to do this, to do it better. Maybe some video production improvements, but
yeah, I could definitely use a better camera. That's for sure.
Hey, we made it to 2025, even if it took 7 months.
Facts.
Yeah, so that's all I got tonight. We really look forward to seeing people in Louisville. 5 days from now is the first match. I know some people have already made their flights into the States. The Fat Boys flew over. There are, I think, 2 other flights that I saw people on today. People driving in from all over the place. I'm headed to Minnesota at 4 o'clock tomorrow morning. And then I fly back to Michigan, do a load of laundry, and hit the road 4 hours later on Friday night. So it's real, but for the love of the club, right?
Hell yeah.
Oh, that's right. Our producer, Nathan, is bringing 10 gallons of apple wine to Louisville.
I'm jealous.
Last year, the Louisville locals were awesome, sharing their local bourbon with us. I think they're going to be surprised with the apple wine. Nathan, are you going to be sharing with the Louisville locals? He's got his own hatred of them. I'm really curious if Nathan ends up sharing. I dislike Louisville. He hates Lou City. So that'll be interesting to see if he shares. But he's a lovely guy. I'm sure he will. Nathan is starting at EFC St. Louis. He's got some fantastic stickers, one of the best sticker designs I've seen. So I look forward to that. But,
10 gallons for me.
10 gallons. You can keep it cold in my hotel. I promise it'll get there the next day. I'll return the keg empty and you can take it back. All right, that's all we got for tonight's show. John, where can people find you on social media?
Yeah, you can find me on Blue Sky at johnben.bsky.social or on Instagram at johnben33.
And you can find me on Instagram at Chris N. Monroe. Again, follow the show at Hey Eintracht Frankfurt, at HEF Pod on other platforms. Again, check the link in the bio here to find all the social medias. Also, a link to tickets in there to buy if you haven't already for Louisville and Philadelphia. That's all I got. Appreciate you tuning in this time, and we hope to talk to you next time. Cheers.